earnings that we've gotten, some big movers here in after hours. Into some of the earnings that we've gotten, some big movers here in after hours trading, and that includes Qualcomm. Qualcomm shares up about 4% right now here on the back of its earnings. Bloomberg Intelligence senior semiconductor analyst Kunjan Sobhani joining us right now. And Kunjan, what jumped out at you most here in this report?
Yeah, so coming into the quarter, it was pretty clear that the smartphone market has bottomed. Customers have been drawing down inventory for a few quarters now. What was uncertain was the speed and the size of the expected market snapback. I mean, the results came in slightly above, but on a handset and a QTL side, they were kind of in line. And similarly, there was not a lot of impressive beat for next quarter. So this suggests that the snapback recovery continues to stay muted, unlike the recovery that we are seeing from the PC market.
What is the biggest risk for Qualcomm here? I feel like China is such a big unknown. It's a big question mark here, and that will continue to plague the stock going forward.
Exactly, and the guide sort of suggests that. I mean, there's a lot of cross currents happening. On one side, we heard TSMC saying some green shoots in the smartphone ecosystem, but the other side, there's, Android in China especially is not showing signs of strong recovery. We saw slightly sluggish Apple iPhone sales, so that's also didn't come to help them. And there's also this caveat of, Huawei with its launch maybe potentially taking share. So there still remains a lot of uncertainty for Qualcomm.
And outside of the smartphone market, let's talk about a little bit about the PC market, because actually you saw this week Qualcomm really step up its effort to break into the PC market. It unveiled that new laptop processor. Of course, this is a space dominated by Intel, by the likes of Apple. What are Qualcomm's prospects at this point?
I mean, look, that's a very new market that a lot of players, not just Qualcomm, you heard NVIDIA and AMD also say, trying to attack. The story still remains unclear. It's more of a 24-25 story. But one thing for Qualcomm is it's all upside. So even if, those numbers are not embedded in their estimates for next year, so even if they get a minuscule share there, it's all upside from there. So it's more of like a call option for them.
When we talk about longer term, Kunjan, and some of the efforts that we've seen by companies, by customers, I should say, to sort of design and even go so far as to manufacture some of their own chips here, does this end up being a longer term hurdle or a longer term potential roadblock that investors should be keeping their eyes on?
Not at this point. I mean, we saw, in fact, something opposite, right? Apple was supposed to design out Qualcomm, but they were not able to get to the solution they wanted, so they extended their contract. So as far as handsets, modem, and application processor is concerned, they seem to have a pretty significant moat there for the near term or the medium term.
And of course, heading into the phone call with the C-suite, what are you going to be most interested to hear about? What would you like to hear about?
I mean, given the lack of a significant beat to the guidance, we are going to be paying close attention to the tone and sentiment of the commentary around the market and the recovery expected.
All right, Kunjan, really appreciate it. Kunjan Sobhani of Bloomberg Intelligence giving us the instant analysis to Qualcomm's results. You can see Qualcomm shares currently up almost 4% in after-hours trading.